Hello, good evening, and welcome to the show, The Law, the People, and Governance. This is a political program that talks about political trends and also addresses social issues that has to do with Nigerians. Of course, this is still a new dawn for Nigeria. Of course, yesterday, Nigeria welcomed a new president that will pilot the affairs of Nigeria for the next 4 years, and also other states of the federation as well. Here in Akwa Ibom State, Akwa Ibom saw the inauguration of a new governor in the person of Pastor Omoeno to pilot the affairs of the state as well. So we have so much to talk about on this program, and of course we'll also take a look at the issue of fuel scarcity that has surfaced again in a space of I would say in less than 2 months. It has happened before, and here we are facing the same issue again, from fuel scarcity and the naira scarcity back to fuel scarcity again. This is owing to the subsidy removal that was announced yesterday by the new president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And of course, we'll also get to find out the consequences of this announcement, as it has so many effects, both positive and negative, on Nigerians. Welcome once again to the show. My name is Rachel David White. We'll go on a short break. When we come right back, we'll be ready to talk to you, and our guests will join us live here in the studio. We'll be right back.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian, from issues on politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
security, education, health, lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
All right, welcome back to the show. It's still the program, The Law of the People and Governance here on Spectrum Television. And I told you when we come right back, we'll go straight to the show. We'll have a guest live here in the studio, ready to talk to us. Welcome, Vincent Dalu.
Thank you. Good evening, Nigerians. It's nice to be here again.
Okay, yeah, I like the fact that you said it's nice to be here again. I remember some time ago we were here and we're talking about how the golden era is going to look like. But right now we are in the golden era. So welcome to the golden era.
Thank you. It's good. It's good to be part of the golden era. And of course, like the governor said yesterday, the happy hour just began. So yeah. So let's begin to savor all the trappings and the things that we're supposed to get from the happy hour and of course the golden era.
Okay, yeah, a quick one. Let's just go into talking about this proper. Yes, I know that as a new governor who has just come in on seat, we have lots of expectations. Yeah, we're basically talking about Akwa Ibom here, the inauguration of the pastor Umoino as the governor of Akwa Ibom State, and of course Akon Eyarenyi as the deputy governor of Akwa Ibom State as well. Well, I'd like to say I know that there are so many expectations, okay, from Akwa Ibomites. He should be able to do at least I would say 70% of his campaign promises in the first 100 days. Yeah, I'm not saying everything on his campaign, on his manifesto, but I'm talking about the things that he talked about when he comes into office. He's going to do this, he's going to do that in first 100 days. So what are the expectations of Akwa Ibom people?
Well, the governor Umoeno has already put his Arise agenda, in the public domain. And yesterday, while he was delivering his inaugural address, he made mention of specifics. He talked about setting up a reconciliation committee.
Yeah,
very important.
Very important.
And you know that in the last 8 years, Akwa Ibom has enjoyed relative peace, courtesy of the unassuming nature and peaceful demeanor of the immediate past governor of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Odom Emmanuel. He's been the brain behind the peace that the state has enjoyed. So one will only expect that peaceful nature of the state will continue even in the tenure of the golden boy, Governor Umoeno. And then secondly, don't forget that prior to the election primaries and the elections and so forth, a lot of things happened. Members left, people were angry, and stuff like that. In elections, you expect things like that, but just one person is going to be governor at the end of the day. So those who are aggrieved and perhaps may have left and don't want to be part of the system, the governor has promised to set up a reconciliation committee. He said that shortly after the election. And even yesterday, he reiterated that fact that he was going to set up a reconciliatory committee to ensure that those who are aggrieved should be brought. Not just those who are aggrieved, those who left for other political parties, will be made to come together and see how they can contribute their quota to the development of Akwa Ibom. So for me, that is a very great achievement if it is followed through to the end within the first 100 days. And then, of course, there are other things that he is going to do. There's a particular road he said he was going to award the contract within the first 100 days that if he comes into office.
Yeah, he also talked about the road that links
I think
to
that's the road.
markets.
Exactly. So there's another road that that he mentioned. One would expect that all those promises that he made that he will fulfill within the first 100 days in office, we will begin to see those things, because of course some of us will be on the sideline to keep tabs of all the activities of Umoeno, all the programs, all the things that he's going to do within the first 100 days.
We'll be here, of course, to also remind
personally,
him.
I will be giving a blow-by-blow account of everything he is doing to the public. The reason is simple. I was personally committed to the Umoeno, project, and then he is one. And then since the people voted for him, especially those that we convinced, whether within or outside the social media, so it's now our duty to begin to update them on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. Okay, Pastor Umoeno has done this. So within the first 100 days in office, I am sure we should be counting 1, 2, 3, 4 things that he has done to show that he really means business.
And if he's able to, I think if any of these elected and inaugurated, political office holders are able to at least do 70%, I said 70%, they may not be able to, put all of that into practice, but if they are able to do at least 70 to 80% of their promises in the first 100 days, like they said, I think it would give people confidence to put more hope. But away from that, we've seen Umoina being inaugurated at the, fifth civilian governor of Akwa Ibom State, and also we saw the inauguration of Senator Akon Iyagenyi as the deputy governor of Akwa Ibom State, and this is like the second time Akwa Ibom is having a female deputy governor in the state. I would say, what does this mean to the women, Akwa Ibom State women, or politically, yeah?
Well, it means a lot. It means there is now political inclusiveness for women. It means that the Geneva Convention that talks about affirmation for women is beginning to gain ground in Akwa Ibom. Don't forget that in the government of former Governor Udom Emmanuel, there were a lot of changes in terms of bringing women into mainstream. At a point, a greater percentage of the vice chairmen of the local government were women. A handful of them were also vice chairmen of the political party. Those who were involved, who were, interested in councillorship, they got it. Several appointments were given to women, courtesy of Her Excellency, Deaconess Udom Emmanuel. So you can see that it's more like a continuation. But giving the women that deputy governorship slot, for me, it's a win-win for them, because Akon Iyagenyi is one person that has achieved a lot as an individual, even as a minister, as commissioner, and then later chairman of the Polytechnic, before what we have today. So you will see that she's come a long way in terms of the things that she's achieved. So she should be able to use that office. Even if she doesn't achieve any other thing, she should be able to use that office and galvanize a lot of support for women. Because you notice that during the elections, it's women that vote more. Go and check the record. It's women that come out to do mobilization.
Let me talk about something. Someone asked the question. It's quite funny. It's like, why don't we see the men come out in colorful wrappers? We always see the women, in different buses come out in colorful wrappers. So it's like the women have more voices, have more votes for.
Not necessarily, but the truth is, women have a way of adding value.
Okay.
To what is going on politically. And that's why the United Nations, they keep emphasizing on the need to give the women a voice. Not just in terms of mobilizing them to come and support candidates, but let the women also be candidates in elections.
Occupy offices.
They should occupy offices. And of course, the Udom Emmanuel government has done that. We are hoping to see more of robustness in terms of engaging the women in the golden era of Governor Umoina.
Each time you say the golden era, it reminds me of the golden boy himself. Okay, yeah, so you talked about continuity, and I know that it has a lot to do with, passing on the mantle. I mean, the beginning of Umoina saw the end of Udom's administration. Let's just do a little review of the past 8 years when Udom Emmanuel was the governor, and link it with continuity. Where do you think it's going to start from?
I must say that Governor Udom Emmanuel, he did his best for Akwa Ibom State.
Every political office holders do their best.
He came on the prong of, he said, look, let's develop the sea, let's develop the land, and let's develop the air. And if you look at those three promises, you will discover that apart from the sea, there's a seaport that is still struggling. Is still struggling. Not that it's struggling. It takes a lot of.
It is struggling.
Approval.
It is struggling. In the past administration, it has surfaced.
What I'm trying to say is that it takes a lot of approvals, and all the approvals have been granted. I think they are at the procurement stage now. Before he left office, they are at the procurement, and don't forget that it's more like the federal government, the state government, and then the investors. So that project is at the procurement stage currently. So we want to hope that Umoina will take it up from there. And of course, he has made promises. He has made commitment that, look, we are going to take that project from where it is now to the next level. come to road, I give it to them 100%. 1,700 kilometers of road, 35 bridges is no mean feat. And within that 1,700 kilometers of road, there are very important economically viable roads that the governor has done. Even as at yesterday when he left office, project construction was still ongoing in some of the roads. Like look at the expansion in Oron Road, for instance. The idea is to expand the Oron Road
it was
because
quite
of
necessary,
because of the bomb district report. And even in Ibaka, there is, I think, what eight lane there. The from that airport junction down to Okobo is also another dualized road. The idea is to expand those roads because of the heavy, cargoes that will be coming out from the seaport when it starts. That's somebody who thinks about the future. I don't want to talk about air because air is almost overflogged. But just few days to his leaving office, we saw what the governor did. The MRO, the international wing, the new international taxiway, and stuff like that. That shows a leader who is intentional in developing. Akwa Ibom will now become a regional hub for aviation activities. So people who are coming from West African countries can bet in Akwa Ibom before heading to wherever they want to go to. Do I need to start going into other sectors that the governor has done? Is it agriculture? Is it health? Is it education? There are so many areas that Udom did well. Now, it's now left for Governor Umoyeno to take a look at what the governor has done. What are those areas that were lagging behind? Last time I came here, I talked about the fact that the governor didn't really do much in terms of human capital development, and I still laid out emphasis. But incidentally, in the Arise agenda, Umoyeno has aptly captured the fact that human capital development is going to take the center stage of his, administration in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of support for SMEs. In fact, in his speech yesterday, he aptly mentioned Hilda Bassi and her exploits, and the fact that his government is going to provide support for every single Akwa Ibomite who is talented, who has something to offer. You're going to be provided the platform with which to ply your trade, and that is why I keep mentioning what Maxwell said about leadership. Say a leader is one who knows the way, shows the way, goes the way, and helps his people to find their fit in life. So that statement by Umoyeno yesterday simply presupposes that, look, as your leader, I will be able to help you find your fit in life. It's not left for those who are willing to find their fit in life to begin to, hone their talents, to begin to get prepared, because the governor, through the Arise agenda, is going to touch every youth that needs to be touched. Every entrepreneur that needs to be encouraged will be encouraged. And I want to hope that once that support is given to the governor, definitely everybody that needs to be supported will be supported.
Okay, I will take a little look at his policies, because I want to look into fuel subsidy before now, or after now rather. So on his official Twitter page, he said, I'm honored and humbled to be officially sworn in as the governor of Akwa Ibom State, and this moment is a testament to the trust and confidence bestowed upon me by the amazing people of Akwa Ibom. I am committed to serving you with integrity, dedication, and passion. And then, yeah, he talked about, entrepreneurship, and that is one part that caught my attention. I know that one thing the government does is creating an enabling environment, like the past president said, Muhammadu Buhari, creating an enabling environment for entrepreneurs to thrive. And him coming from that sector, okay, where he has, been a successful entrepreneur, would have a lot of role to play. But let's take a look at some of the policies that, if he puts in place, would be able to, help make this vision possible.
Well, if you look at the Arise agenda, for example, one of the items there talked about skills, empowerment, and training. And incidentally, few days to Governor Emmanuel leaving office, the Dakada Skills Center, was inaugurated. And then if you look at what the Directorate for Marketing, the cadre that was headed by Imewa, Meflin Awana, and a few others, what they were doing there was to actually encourage young Akwa Ibomites who do not have the means to grow their business, who do not have the means to take what they are doing to the next level. So government provided that platform for these youths to continue. Now, that directorate is not closed. So what it simply means is that government is still going to continue with that and ensure that every young Akwa Ibomite that has something to offer. The last time I was here, I listed quite a good number of them that are doing well in their businesses, but as individuals. So what that simply means is that we will be seeing more of government coming up with policies and programs like the federal government is doing. You have the N-Power, you have the NDE, different programs of the NDE. We are hoping to see that the Directorate of Marketing will now begin to operate like NDE or even SMEDAN, such that policy programs will be tailored to match what you are doing. For example, in the NDE, there are different kinds of programs in the NDE. You want to learn any trade, there are tools, there are people, there are facilitators there. So we will be expecting to see that the entrepreneurial, savvy of the governor will be brought to bear. Not just that he issues statements for it to be carried out, but we'll be seeing more of him coming, okay, do it this way, because Umoino
already been started by the past governor, his predecessor, or he should maybe focus on establishing new ones.
No, but of course, government is a continuum. Definitely, most of those projects, like I mentioned, the Oron Road project is still ongoing. Is he going to abandon that one? No, he will continue until it finishes. Your road, the road that leads to Planet FM here, is under construction. Those contractors are still inside. That's an ongoing project. So he should be able to complete most of these projects that were not hitherto completed by the governor. And then, of course, he will definitely initiate his own projects. Don't expect that he will take the whole of his first tenure to complete only ongoing project. Definitely, as the days go by, there will be betting of his own new projects, and then we can now see how we can begin to push it side by side the ones that were already ongoing. But but basically, I must say, if we must do well as an economy, even as a nation, entrepreneurship is the way to go. The last time I came here, I said, look, we need to begin to think about knowledge economy. Countries like India and Japan, they don't have natural resources like us, but what they have is their humans. So I am saying that even in the first 6 months of the Umeno administration, I mean, we should see more of investment in human capital, because those are the areas that will also help the economy to grow.
Okay, one last thing before we move away from talking about Akwa Ibom State's golden era. I know that one of the first things that the governor is expected to do is to, set up his own cabinet, right?
Oh, sure.
So how important is it that he gets it right in, his appointment? I know that today it was trending everywhere. He says his phone has crashed because of text messages he's got people trying to lobby, to get an appointment from him.
Well, the success of any leader, to a large extent, is dependent on those he surrounds himself with. I did a piece a few weeks ago talking about the making of the Umeno cabinet. And I took time to explain how critical and important it is for Umoeno. Don't forget, Umoeno is an administrator, a trained administrator. He has his first degree in public administration, second degree in public administration, and of course his PhD is in public administration. So he has no reason to fail in this regard. If there is one person who should get it right in terms of putting his team together, that person should be Governor Umoeno. And don't forget that he has his own business that he has run since 1995. So he had been pulling, men and resources together to succeed in business. So this is not going to be different. So I am expecting Umoeno, like the first 3 appointments, we're expecting that by the dawn of today, we should be able to hear that he has appointed an SSG, somebody who should be able to run the government for him at the background, should be able to announce Chief Press Secretary, the person who will be promoting the activities of government. Then he should be able to, of course, announce the Chief of Staff and probably Director of Protocol. These are 4 critical offices that should be announced between today and tomorrow. And then, of course, the making of his cabinet is also very, very important, because these are the people that will drive his policies in the various institutions they are going to man. Don't forget that the policies and programs of government are driven by institutions, but these institutions are manned by humans like us. So you don't go and bring a round square or a round peg and you put it in a square hole. It's not going to work. So it's important that he gets it right in terms of those he wants to assemble, together to help him actualize the Arise agenda.
All right, thank you so much, Vincent Alu. A quick one. I'd like to remind the people that they can join us on the show by sending us a WhatsApp, a text message, or putting a call across to us. How do you feel? What are your expectations from the new administration, both at the presidential and at the state level, in all the states that have had different governors inaugurated and different people inaugurated into different offices? We'll go on a short break. When we come right back, we'll talk about fuel subsidy. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. It's still the program, The Law of the People and Governance, here on Spectrum Television. And of course, today has been a good one. We've talked about the golden era that has begun here in Akwa Ibom State. And right about now, we'll take a look at what is currently trending in Nigeria just immediately after Nigeria inaugurated a new president into office. I mean, we know we've had those queues in the filling stations sometime early this year, and just when we thought it was gone forever, it's resurfacing itself again in just less than a few months. Filling stations have been shut down, some here in Akwa Ibom State and in some other states, while some others, we have lots of queues, maybe because they're selling a bit cheaper. The issue of fuel subsidy is something that is quite worrisome. And then I must ask, Vincent, do you think that the president saying, making such announcement on the first day of his inauguration into office came too sudden, or was it being misinterpreted? Because we know that filling stations have started hiking the price of petrol. Some stations sell it at 600 naira according to reports, and some at 500 naira.
Well, it's most unfortunate that just the first day of the president being in office, we are faced with the situation
Some people are asking, wasn't he thinking about the consequences?
No, the truth is, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has forgotten that he is now the president.
Whatever he says stands.
He thinks that he is still in the era of politics. He doesn't know that politics has ended, that it's now time for governance. And that whatever he says, he is the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the largest nation in the black world. He doesn't, perhaps he should be reminded that anything he says stands. Now, I took time to go through the statement the president made.
Trying to explain himself?
No, not trying. I mean the statement he made yesterday about the first person.
Yeah.
It was a good statement. But that statement was made without any further explanation as to what next. That statement didn't state when the subsidy was going to go. And then,
as soon as it hits the ground and running, so people took it as
so people took it as, okay, the president means subsidy should go. And then even some of his supporters came and were trying to explain for the president until this morning, when the president now said, look, I didn't say that subsidy should go immediately. What I am saying is that subsidy will go in a further date. But that was not the purport of that statement, because the statement simply stated that subsidy is going to go. And then he explained things, and stuff like that. But unfortunately, we have Shylock marketers who only wait for statements without waiting for explanations. And then we saw the NNPC even coming out to support Mr. President, to say that Mr. President, is right. But incidentally, Mr. President has come out to say, look, this was not what I actually meant. But Mr. President would have saved us this wobbly start. Mr. President would have saved us this misstep by just stating that, yes, subsidy has been there, it will go.
Maybe at the end of June.
At the end of June, because this government budgeted, the outgone government budgeted for subsidy between January and June. And that was about 3.38 trillion naira. So meaning at the end of June, subsidy will go. We are just in May, and then somebody is saying that subsidy has gone, or and stuff like that. It was too impromptu. It was a wobbly start. And look at the sufferings. I mean, today I moved around town for like 2 hours. I didn't see fuel. I went home to sleep until I got an update that I can get along your village road. And I came, I bought for 400 naira. But that's a fuel that we buy for
240, 230, 220.
220. And then I'm buying for 400.
You know what surprises me? You sleep at night and then you wake up and things are high.
To clap for Mr. President for such a start. No. That was too insensitive and it was impromptu. Okay,
I'll just take some reactions. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria have kicked against it, saying it could snowball into a popular uprising if not immediately reversed. What do you think about that?
But of course, that is even part of what I said in the piece that I put out. That the president should not, inside NLC.
Is it possible to come out and reverse this?
No. The issue of subsidy going is totally supported by me and those who love this country, because an infinitesimal percentage of a cabal, and imagine between January and now, 3.38 trillion naira is gone, and the Buhari government kept borrowing to pay subsidy. So it's a good thing for subsidy to go, but there are certain conditionalities that should be put in place.
Yes.
Now the Buhari government didn't do that. Even the Dangote refinery, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president is expecting that the Dangote refinery will help in the issue of subsidy, it should have waited. The refinery will commence production. The first production will be the market in July or so. So it should wait for that production to take place, and then the product hit the market.
I think that would have been the wise thing to do.
That is exactly what I said.
As well.
That's exactly what I said in my piece. Number two, apart from the Dangote refinery, we have 4 refineries in this country.
So why isn't any working?
Now, if those refineries are not working, why not give it out to investors? Let them turn it around the way Dangote is built a new one, and then so that there will be competition in the market. Don't forget that when the GSM came in, it was more like a monopoly. The line that I am using currently, I bought it for 35,000. Today, line is free because there are other players in the market.
Yeah.
If you go to the broadcast industry, for example, even though that one too, those DSTV is enjoying, the monopoly. But look at TV stations; they're just coming up. SpectrumTv is here. If you go to you have ABN TV, and others are coming. I don't want to even mention radio stations. They are all coming because of the liberalization of the sector. But if you now carry the monopoly of government and hands over to one person, I tell you, we're going to buy fuel at 700 naira. But if you allow for competition by allowing these refineries to go, if you can't maintain it, if you can't revamp it, why not give it out to business minded persons to revamp it so that they can refine our crude? Because the idea of all this subsidy is because we don't refine our crude. We take our crude outside the country and then you refine.
Okay, I know that the president had said that his government is not going to suffocate the poor. In his words, he says, he's going to allow the poor to breathe and not suffocate them. So I'm going to check the words of Dr. Akinwumi, president of the African Development Bank. He says fuel subsidy is killing the Nigerian economy, and then it's cost $10 billion in 2022 alone, and then it is only favoring the rich and not the poor.
I totally agree with you, and that's the argument I am making. But I am saying, for the last 80 years, the government did nothing about putting the conditionalities in place before removal of subsidy. All we always hear is, okay, subsidy has gone. How many times did the Buhari government remove subsidy? Almost 4 times. But what we saw was just price increase. And nothing was done on the conditionalities. So if the Tinubu government really means business in terms of removing subsidy, I agree, it's not even in the 2023 budget. So meaning there's not going to be provisions for it. Now, what are you going to do to cushion the effect of the removal? This was the same issue that this government, the Tinubu government and the Buhari government used to fight the Jonathan government to a standstill because certain conditionalities were not put in place. Now, even when the Jonathan government did not remove the subsidy, it went ahead to create a Shopee program. It created other programs to ensure that the impact of the removal of subsidy will not be felt. There were mass transit buses here and there. So what did the Buhari government do in terms of, okay, we are prepared to remove subsidy? What is the Tinubu government going to do differently? What social intervention program have you put in place so that when you remove subsidy, it's not going to tell on the poor? I mean, they should stop telling us about they care about the poor. You know, the 5% political class in this country, they don't care about the poor or anything. In fact, the richest sector in Nigeria now is the political sector. So they shouldn't come and tell us that crap that they care about the poor. Because if they care about the poor, they will not do anything like what you call it, Naira redesign. Look at what we suffered.
Yeah, I wanted to come to Naira redesign.
And then somebody's talking about caring about the poor.
I know that the president has said he's going to look into, you know, the Naira redesign policy again. So we're having this. If this is what looking into the subsidy issue looks like, so what is looking into the Naira redesign policy going to look like? I mean, are we going to have scarcity all over again? There are fears here and there.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not going to tell me, so you could look into. So what is he going to look into? Is he going to compensate Nigerians for the money they lost? Or what exactly is he going to do? And up to date, nobody has been punished, because that was a complete policy misdirection.
Not just that, you know, ever since the concurrent running of both the old and the new Naira notes, when you go to withdraw, you find it hard to even find a new note in circulation. So
I can't even remember the last time
you saw a new note.
I saw a new Naira note. So nobody should come and tell me you look into it, because it was a complete scam. They told us that they printed enough, and then we couldn't even see the enough. So nobody should just tell us that. If the president wants to allow both currencies to run concurrently, it's not left for the president to take that decision. But the question I want to ask, are there not going to be consequences for leaders who take decisions and those decisions inflict injuries? Because those were avoidable injuries that they inflicted on Nigerians. I mean, you don't just sit down there and say you care about the poor, yet you allow policies that will further impoverish them. Don't forget that when President Muhammad Buhari left office yesterday, we're talking about 135 million Nigerians in poverty, meaning that they live on less than $1 a day. How much is a dollar? That's about 700 Naira.
Okay, I know that I would love to talk about so much of his policies, but he just came into office and we have a whole lot to talk about. I mean, a whole lot piled up to talk about, looking at different things he talked about: infrastructure, corruption, insecurity. I don't even want to go into job creations. You know, we have so many things to look into, but right now, our time is already up. And this is where we close the curtains for today on the program. So we're looking forward to having you on the sit again, of course, to talk about the policies of the income, or I can't say incoming again. He is the president now. It's going to take a while, you know, to get the name President Muhammadu Buhari from my mouth and then establish the fact that we have a new president in the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which is, of course, has come to stay, despite, you know, there are some, I don't want to go into what is happening in court currently, but let's see how it goes. Right now, I want to say thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, I want to say thank you for having me, but I also want to appeal to Mr. President. He shouldn't be in a hurry to speak if he knows that he's not sure of what he wants to say, because his words means law. Look at the impact of what he said just yesterday and today. Look at what Nigerians are suffering because of a statement that ordinarily would have been carefully crafted and then let out. His policy means law. In case he doesn't know, politics is over. This is time for governance.
All right, thank you so much, Vincent Dalu. And this is me saying to the people, thank you so much for staying glued to your TV set, Spectrum TV. And this is where we close the curtains on the show for today. My name is Rachel David White. Good evening.